Hello and welcome to Daily Current Affairs by Ekam IAS. Today is 5th October 2019 and the topics for discussion are bullet resistant jacket, trans fat, Indian Forest Act of 1927, Youth CoLab, current affairs capsules, map aided program and previous year question revision series. Coming to our first topic, which is bullet resistant jackets. Now, this is a news because the Union Consumer Affairs Minister, that is Shri Ramvilas Paswan, has actually showcased the bullet-resistant jackets made under the Make in India initiative of India. Okay, so this is the reason why bullet-resistant jackets is in news. You can see the image here, wherein this one personnel is actually wearing the bullet-resistant jacket. You see, it's how it's totally covering up the body of the personnel that is wearing it. So this can be used for military purposes. Our jawans, our law enforcement agencies in various critical areas, they can also use it for protecting themselves from the bullets that the criminals or the enemy country is firing upon. Okay, so we'll talk about this. Now, India, after getting this bullet resistant jacket, actually joins the Select League of Nations, and such, an example of that would be US, UK, and Germany, to have its own standards of such type of jackets. Now, these jackets are lightweight jackets and they weigh between 5 to 10 kgs, and this difference in weight also will depend upon the threat level, which what kind of ammunition is the person going to deal with. If they are going to deal with small rounds or small bullets, they don't need to wear very heavy jackets. However, if they are going to deal with very big rounds, for example, if it's an assault rifle like AK-47 things like that, then they'll have to deal with the heavier type of jacket. Okay, so this is how there's a difference in the range of difference in the weight of the jacket. Now, the thing was, it was informed that these jackets actually cost between 70,000 to 80,000, and this is actually considerably lesser than the current price of the jackets that we are procuring from outside India. Now, this is also going to improve the employment generation across the nation. Okay, now we'll talk about the impact of these jackets on our armed forces. Now, these jackets have a dynamic weight distribution system which makes it feel half its actual weight, and it also has an easy open and release system. Now, this is to ensure that the Jawans can easily wear this and remove the jacket as per their requirement without much of any effort. So, understand, here this main point here is that it has a dynamic weight distribution. I told you the weight of this thing will range from 5 to 10 kilograms. For example, now if they're wearing a 10 kilogram jacket, 10 kilograms is not very light also, as a matter of fact. However, because of the dynamic weight distribution, it is not like you really feel heavy while wearing these jackets. In fact, the weight of the entire jacket is going to be distributed in such a manner you will only feel a slight change in the weight of the person, so that even then, even though you're wearing a heavy jacket, the movement of the personnel is not hampered in this case. Now, the Central Armed Police Forces like CRPF, BSF, SSP, CISF, NSG, etc., all these kinds of police forces have already initiated the procedure for procuring the jackets as per the Indian standards that is set by BIS. Now, coming to our next topic, which is trans fat. Now, this is in news because Dr. Harshvardhan, who is the Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, has actually launched the trans fat free logo, and this is of the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, FSSAI. This is launched at the 8th International Chefs Conference. Now, this marked an important milestone in the movement against trans fat, the movement which is occurring in India. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about this news. Now, the trans fat are the worst type of fat known to human risk. Now, India committed to eliminating it from the food supply and its processing towards its objective of the trans fat elimination by 2020. Now, this target of eliminating trans fat by 2020 is 1 year ahead of the global target set by WHO. Okay. Now, as part of the collective vision, FSSAI is committed to reducing the industrially produced trans fatty acids to less than 2% by a year by 2020, and they are going to do it in a phased manner and is geared up to the freedom from trans fat with the motto of India at 75, freedom from trans fat. So, this is the commitment that FSSAI has taken up. Now, in addition to all of this, Dr. Harshvardhan has also launched a Green Purple Initiative logo. So now we'll talk about the Green Purple Initiative. Now this initiative aims to qualify the chefs on food safety legal requirements and sustainable cooking methods. So food safety legal requirements and also sustainable cooking methods, and this is in order to promote trans fat free cooking. Now it will be a 6 months program that includes key areas of trans fat free cooking, less sodium and hygienic cooking, seasonal, eco-friendly and less energy consuming cooking methods. So these are the areas which will be taken up under this Green Purple Initiative. Now coming to how trans fats is actually made. Now industrial trans fats are made by adding hydrogen to liquid vegetable oil. Okay, they add hydrogen into it and they make it into a trans fat. So once they add hydrogen into the liquid vegetable oil, this liquid vegetable oil will start becoming into a solid form. Okay, it starts becoming more or less like a solid form, and this transformation they do it for increasing the shelf life of the food. Understand, if such methods are not used industrially, if they have profit oriented thinking, they are going to use such methods, and when such methods are used industrially, the trans fat amount in the food actually increases because they have to preserve it for a longer period of time. This is the main idea here. Now, trans fats are largely present in partially hydrogenated vegetable fats or oils. Okay, this can be vanaspati, margarine, baking shortenings, all those baking uh, food products that we get from these bakeries and all. They also contain trans fat. It's also found in fried food products that we eat from outside. So that is, in that food also we have trans fat, and trans fat is the most dangerous type of fat for the human body. Okay, so coming to the question of what does this trans fat free logo imply? Uh, the food establishments which use trans fat free oil and do not have industrial trans fat more than 0.2 grams per 100 grams of food, only these companies can actually use the trans fat free logo. Okay, now it also, they have to also come under the compliance of the food safety and standards advertising and claims regulation of 2018. So there are two conditions there which all companies can actually show this logo. The first one is that they have to have an industrial trans fat less than that of 0.2 grams per 100 grams, and after that they have to follow the regulations under food safety and standards advertising and claims regulations of 2018. So these are the two conditions. Now understand, this logo that they can use is not compulsory, it is totally voluntary. Any company complying with these things can use it on a voluntary basis. Coming to our next topic, which is the Indian Forest Act of 1927. Now this is in news because Mizoram has rejected the proposed Forest Act amendment that was been made. Now we'll talk about the Forest Act of 1927. Now it was largely based on the previous Indian Forest Act implemented under the British rule. Now that was the Indian Forest Act of 1878. So it's back then, it's very old. Now both acts actually sought to consolidate and reserve the areas having forest cover or significant wildlife for regulation of movement and transit of forest produce and duty leviable on timber and other forest produce, basically for easy movement of forest produce within the forest. So that is the main reason why they had to consolidate these things under the earlier two rules. Now it also defines the procedure to be followed for declaring an area to be a reserved forest, a protected forest or a village forest. Now it defines what is a forest offence, what are the acts prohibited inside a reserve forest, and also the penalties leviable on violation of the provisions of the Act. Now coming to the proposed amendments that was made in the Indian Forest Act, it is that significant powers of the will be given to the Indian forest officers, okay, the IFOS category people. Now after that, the power to issue search warrants, enter and investigate lands within their jurisdictions, and to provide indemnity to forest officers using arms to prevent forest related offences. So a lot of power is given to the Indian forest officers. After that, we have the forest officer not below the rank of a ranger shall have the power to hold an inquiry into the forest offences and shall have the powers to search or issue a search warrant under the Code of Criminal Procedure of 1973. Now coming to the next topic, which is the Youth Co Lab. Now this is in news because the Atal Innovation Mission of the Niti Aayog, UNDP India had jointly launched the Youth Co Lab, and this is to accelerate the youth-led social entrepreneurship and innovation in India. Now we'll talk a little bit more about this news. Now the letter of intent of LOI was signed between AIM, that is Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog and UNDP India. Coming to the objectives, now the young entrepreneurs and innovators will get a chance to connect with governments, mentors, incubators and investors who will help equip them with such entrepreneurial skills. Now it will convene social innovation challenges at the national and subnational level, which will invite young people in the age of 18 to 29. Understand the age group here, okay? From the age group of 18 to 29 years, and startups to showcase their proposed ideas and solutions to tackle some of the region's biggest social challenges. The next objective is that they are targeted at supporting young people overcome challenges. Now, UNDP, Atal Innovation Mission and Niti Aayog will empower young people through innovative development ideas. Now, the first phase of Youth Co Lab will focus on 6 sustainable development goals, and these are SDG 5, that is gender equality, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, SDG 7, affordable and clean energy, SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, SDG 12, sustainable consumption and production, and finally SDG 13, that is about climate action. Talking a bit more about this, the Youth Co Lab was created in 2017 by the United Nations Development Programme and the City Foundation, and their aim was to establish a common agenda for countries in the Asia Pacific region to empower and invest in the youth so that they can accelerate the implementation of the sustainable development goals through leadership, social innovation and entrepreneurship. Now it also works closely with multiple stakeholders including governments, civil society and private sector to strengthen the entrepreneurship of the economy. Coming to the current affairs capsules, the first one here is the GPS aided geo augmented navigation system, that is the Gagan system. Okay, now this is a satellite based navigation system that will be in service over India, Bay of Bengal, Southeast Asia and Middle East, along with expansion up to Africa. So it's a big region, the area which Gagan is going to cover. Now this system has been jointly developed by ISRO and AAI, Airports Authority of India, and is being used in the aviation sector for precise positioning of information services. Coming to the next one, which is the Goa Maritime Conclave. The Goa Maritime Conclave of 2019, conducted by the Naval War College, was inaugurated by the National Security Advisor at Goa. Now, the theme for the conclave was Common Maritime Priorities in IOR, that is the Indian Ocean region, and need for regional maritime strategy. Coming to the map aided program, today we'll be talking about the Namdapha Tiger Reserve. Now, Namdapha Tiger Reserve was declared in the year of 1983 as a tiger reserve under the Project Tiger of the country, and it was the 15th tiger reserve in the country. Now, the Namdapha protected area is located in the Changlang district of Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. Now, it is located at the junction of the Indian subcontinent biogeographic region and the Indo-China biogeographic region. So it's a region between these two biogeographic regions, and because of this there is extensive diversity of flora and fauna in that belt or the region. Coming to the previous year question revision series, with reference to Miansen, which one of the following statement is not correct? The first one is that Tansen was the title given to him by the Emperor Akbar, Mian Tansen. The next option is Tansen composed Drupads on Hindu gods and goddesses. The third option is Tansen composed songs on his patrons, and finally Tansen invented many ragas. So the question here is that they are asking which of the following is not correct, and the answer to this question is option A, that Tansen was a title given to him by Emperor Akbar. This is not a correct statement, and therefore the wrong statement is option A. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you have any doubts or queries, you can write in the comment section below. Thank you.